Welcome to the fourth episode of Athlete POV. Today we're sitting down with Rutgers commit, five-star kicker rated, Jay Patel. He's from South Brunswick High School in New Jersey, actually right near a high school where I used to go to and play football. We're excited to have him on, and we're excited to see what he has to say, and let's get right into it.
Sounds good.
So what I found most interesting, you were rated a five-star kicker by Cole's Kicking Camp, probably a local camp on the East Coast, New Jersey area. I was just wondering, what is that like? What does it mean to you to be recognized as like a five-star, like top of the line kicker in the country?
Well, actually, Cole's Kicking is around the country, so we would do camps in Jersey, and we'd also do camps around the country. So I went out to Texas a couple times. I went down to Florida a couple times to get ranked. And it was kind of a chance as a kicker. You don't get much spotlight, especially by some of the other rankings that you see, like 24/7 and Rivals.
Right.
So they kind of specialize with the specialists, so kicking, punting, and snapping. And, as you went, and they really knew the coaching and all that stuff. So you do a competition, you kick, and they pretty much would see with your own eyes. And it's good to be ranked by people that know the position, not just by random people that are just assuming if the ball goes in, you should be, this ranked. So it was really an honor to be ranked 5 stars. That's the highest you can be. And I peaked at one point. I was number 3 in the country during my junior year. So it was just an awesome feeling to, get recognized like that.
Yeah, because all the time we see the big rankings 24/7, like the ESPN top 300 or like different recruiting agencies that are bigger. But what I'm getting at is that the Cole's Kicking Camp is like the one for specialists. Is that
Yes.
That's like the main one for those type?
Yeah.
For that
There's
positions?
another competing company, but I've always been a Cole. It's like there's 2 camps, and most people go to Cole's. It's kind of like a rivalry type thing, but I think that Cole's is the most fair. I've been with them since 7th grade, and it's been a good journey.
So now with Rutgers, your hometown school, what was the big decision behind that, and what made you ultimately pick to go there?
So they were one of the first schools that contacted me when they were available to, September 1st, my junior year. And I just built such great relationships with the coaches there. And as time went on and I was talking, more schools started talking, Rutgers always kept the same relationship, and they never would, quote unquote, ghost me, or, it was never too much. I always felt that it was just the right amount of relationship. And around January of my junior year, we started doing Zoom calls where coaches would come in from different staffs, like the weight training, the strength coach would come in, the nutritionist would come in, the academic advisor would come in, and they'd kind of give me a view of the program. And as time went on, I was really I think I could be the best student athlete I can be. I would thrive on the field, and then in the future, both my sisters went to Rutgers, and they're doing great after college. So that was kind of a school I was looking at just as a student, and having the opportunity to play football there with Coach Giano, and our recruiting class is unbelievable. And I think that, we're really going to change the way people look at New Jersey football in general and make some noise in a couple of years.
You touched on so many things I wanted to bring up. First off, Rutgers. I saw they had a top 25 recruiting class. What do you think is the future for Rutgers?
I think that we kind of proved it this year. We went 3-0 in non-conference play to start the year. And the Big Ten, we're in the hardest division of the Big Ten, so it's always going to be tough.
Definitely.
But I think, we were tight with a bunch of teams, and we showed that, we're not far from being at some of the same levels as some of these top programs. And even during the COVID year, we played Michigan super tight. We played Penn State super tight.
I remember, yes.
I think that Coach Giano is such a great recruiter, and that, as time goes on, it's just going to show that the program is leveling up and potentially be that top 25 team they were in the 2000s.
So now when you mentioned how during your recruiting process in January you said you would meet with coaches via Zoom, is that usually different because it was during COVID, the pandemic?
Yeah, so we were in a dead period for the longest time. So meaning coaches couldn't come on campus and we couldn't go to their campus. Usually coaches will come in December and January to visit players or even go to games, but that wasn't allowed because of COVID. So my best view of the program and, getting a visit would have been on Zoom. So that was the only way that they could really show me the program without them just asking me oh, how's your day going, or doing the normal recruiting stuff, which I found very cool because not many programs really had thought of this idea. And they were one of the only schools that actually did Zooms with me during the process.
I'm sure that's one of the reasons how personable you make it seem they are, is how they got so many good kids in from, say, make a top 25 class.
Definitely.
Yeah. all athletes train, but not all of them make it to the FBS level, which you're about to go into. What would you say is the one thing that you've stayed dedicated to the most and trained like so often, daily, every day? What do you think goes into a solid training schedule?
Especially as a specialist, it's going to be different than your typical on-field linebacker, quarterback position. So we deal with a lot of on-field work where it's kicking, but then what's very underrated is the flexibility portion and agility portion, and then the weightlifting portion, because we're not expected to hit 225 on the bench for 20 reps, but being able to do those explosive movements like cleans, snatches, and stuff like that really works the hips are really fundamental. So I've been doing CrossFit since 8th grade, which I found really helped me because it helped my overall body. And from people that I've spoken to that are specialists, even in college or even in the NFL, have always said, just work to be the best athlete you can, and that's only going to help. So CrossFit really works your whole body. And I found that, keeping that consistent really helped with keeping my weight where it is. I'm around the 170, 175 mark, and then complementing that with on-field work. But half of the issue is not overworking. We're almost like pitchers where, we can't be throwing 90 pitches a day. Right. We need breaks. So
you can't kick that much.
Exactly. So I try to kick around like 30 balls a session, which seems pretty low, but over time, if you're able to work properly, it's just enough. And then depending on the time of the year. So right now I'm probably at the field 1 to 2 times a week just because, it snowed yesterday, so I can't hit the field.
Yeah. That was crazy.
And that's half the issue with being a northern kicker is that, we don't have flexibility to kick all year. So especially the weightlifting I found is one of the most fundamental things as a kicker you need to work on.
I was wondering, have you seen that punter that put up like 25 reps on bench press and like the combine?
Yeah, so Michael Turk is one of them, and then Tyler Newsome, he was a punter at Notre Dame. He put up 28 or 30.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
He is a close friend, actually. So he lives in PA
wow.
now, and he works out with me at the field sometimes. And we've built a great relationship over time. We kick together at the field, and while he punts, I'll kick, and we kind of help each other out. Or he helps me. I can't really help him. He's a monster. But he always talks about the bench, and I'm like, that's my inspiration.
That's like his bragging rights probably, right?
Exactly.
That's great. Man, so this is actually kind of related, but do you have like certain foods you eat as well, like that are just like a constant in your diet, like whether it be daily
Yeah,
or...
I mean, grilled chicken is a staple. So I also found that like school lunch isn't the most nutritious. So I would have my mom the night before, whatever she's cooking, cook double that. So I can just bring that to school the next morning. So I'll wake up an extra 5 minutes, eat it all up, and then, bring that to school and kind of meal prep. So grilled chicken, rice, like those together has been awesome. Doing like grilled chicken sandwiches with mashed potatoes and then having like greens, so broccoli or any type of green bean really helps me out. And that was important during the season because that's when I lose most of my weight. So
right.
I kind of played with that this year with COVID because the lunch situation wasn't the best at school, and it worked out perfectly. And then PB&J's has been a go-to of mine.
One of the big consistent things I've listened to here from all the athletes we've talked to so far, meal prep is so key with everyone's diet. And everyone I've talked to is either committed to a big college or like a college program or in college or getting ready for a draft. Meal prep is like the big key to everyone's like diet. And that's, it's no surprise really, I'm guessing.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. So another big thing with Athlete POV is you always like to get insight about the athlete's music, what they listen to, type of artists that are in their playlist, pre-game training. Do you have like a different pre-game and training playlist? Like how does your music situation work for you?
Yeah, it's almost a good thing with my friends. They find it funny that you can put me in a car with anyone and I can listen to the music. So I can listen to pop, I can listen to rock, I can listen to country, I can listen to rap. So I'm kind of flexible, but when I'm in the zone, I'm a big rap guy. I love Eminem, I love Drake, Lil Wayne's amazing, Lil Baby, and Gunna. And then Paulucci sometimes and some artists like that. But Drake, I even looked at my Apple Music replay and it was bad. It was like 65 hours of Drake and then Lil Baby was at like 24. So it just shows I have Drake shuffling like at all times because that was like one of the first rappers I ever listened to. And I found his music just really suits me the best because he's so like flexible almost, or not flexible, but he has such a good variety of music.
Right. He can do like hardcore like rap and get into like a fast flow or like nice and chill vibes. Like I'm a
exactly what
big
that
Drake.
was.
I'm a big Drake fan myself, so I relate to
Okay.
that. And I appreciate you like saying like such in detail of every single artist that you think that really like fits you. Because not everyone is
Yeah.
like really like comfortable. Like sometimes they like cringe and say,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I listen to this person, but I also have this vibe." So yeah, that was really cool how you mentioned everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Drake's my guy. I keep saying it, but I love Drake personally. I just think
Yes.
his music fits me the best.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually probably relate to you. That's definitely me too. Honestly, Drake's my probably number one. We actually my sophomore year we actually lost to your team, South Brunswick, in the state
State championship.
championship. Yeah.
I was there. Yeah, I still I don't know how much of a PI that was, in my opinion. Like I'm happy we
Oh fuck
won.
yeah!
I mean, I was like,
Hey,
I was scared for a
the
second.
guy, our guy did not. He didn't touch him. You saw the replay,
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It was like it's at Rutgers, so they could really review it if they wanted to.
but they didn't. Well,
And then Coach George left us. He actually came back. I don't know if you saw. So Coach George left after my freshman year, and we were all excited as freshmen to play with him because he won 3 state championships in 5 years. Then he left, and then he literally came back and got hired yesterday as
oh wow.
as we're graduating. So because our coach now wasn't great.
Yeah, because a little Manalapan history. In 2014, our team we beat South Brunswick. That was our only championship, and then we lost. I think it was like 4 or 5 other state championships since 2010. And our coach,
Really?
Coach Guerreri, he left about after my senior year. He left, so 2020 was his last year.
Yeah.
And then our defense coordinator took over. He's great.
Okay.
Coach Lepori. Yeah.
I know the 2014 one too. I don't know if you know who Dante Strickland is. He was a running back at South Brunswick. He ran for like 2K, went to Syracuse, blah blah blah. He won the first state championship in South Brunswick history in 2012. 2014 was his senior year, and he lost, and then we won the next year. But we always, because I train with him, he does speed and agility work in town.
Right.
So I work with him and a couple other college guys that are going Division 1, and he always brings up that game, and I'm like, I feel bad.
Yeah, we had a kid, and like I think he graduated 2011. Anthony Ferkshire. He plays for the Titans now.
Oh yes, the tight
Yeah,
end.
and he caught like 2 touchdowns in the playoffs. I think versus the Patriots and Chiefs. So I mean that was pretty cool too to watch.
The Titans are my team in Madden, so I know too much about them.
No, I mean I play Madden too. I usually do Ultimate Team. I usually run a Jets team.
Oh yeah,
But,
you're a Jets fan.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a
unfortunately.
huge Steelers fan, but I mean like Derrick Henry, I can't not.
Yeah, and Ultimate Team. Derrick Henry's my running back. Yeah.
Okay, I mean he's unbelievable.
He has the best like trucking and best like
Exactly.
break tackle. It's crazy.
My friends get mad at me. I don't care. Like a win's a win.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the Steelers too. What do you think about them?
I'm excited for the new future, but it's like I'm sad because I've grown up with Ben my whole life, so
Yeah.
it's kind of going to be a different change. But I mean, I hope they make the playoffs. But overall, I think if they make it, I think they have Kansas City first round at Kansas City.
What's their playoff scenario? Where are they at right now?
They need the Jags to win and us to win.
Oh,
The
okay.
Jags play the Colts,
Okay.
but the Colts aren't clinched either, so they're going to have to play tough.
And then you saw the thing with the Chargers Raiders. If they tie, they're both.
Yes, and that's if we're again they're not going to. That's what the Raiders said, but we would get screwed. Is if they tied, we would not make it, and both of them would make it.
Yeah, because only 2 out of those 4 are making it, right?
Yeah, I mean the Ravens are in it still, but I mean Lamar's not playing. They're pretty much on their JV squad.
So Jay, one of the things we always do at the end of every athlete POV episode is we ask the athlete their thoughts about athletes' mental health. Like, do you have any advice for anyone going through anything, anyone struggling? And we'd love to hear what you have to say.
All I could say is, don't try to push yourself to the limit. If you feel like there's an issue, you can always go out to talk to someone. And I think a lot of schools are doing a good job, especially in high school, with having people there for you. I always felt that, I've had friends or teammates that have dealt with this type of stuff, and finding someone that you're really trustworthy with. So we had a couple really good guys that are coaches on our team. And I know my friends would go talk to them, and they said they were really good listeners, and, they would just talk to them. And then you have your counselors in the school too. So all I'm saying is don't try to keep it within. Don't try to, hide anything. I think the best thing you could do is talk to someone, whether it's a friend, a trusted adult, or, anyone in general that you feel safe with. And, hopefully you can get better. And I hope that helps everyone out with, mental health, because it's really affecting a lot of people in this day and age.
Absolutely. And you mentioned coaches. I mean, coaches probably see so often that they're literally probably like family members to you if you think of them like that. So I just
Exactly.
find it cool you touch on how coaches are probably a big asset if you needed
You
someone to
spend
talk to.
you spend so much time with your coaches that they know you very well and they can tell when there's an issue. So if you're able to talk to them and you feel you have that type of relationship, they're one of the best people to ever talk to about mental health.
Absolutely. That's going to conclude the fifth episode of Athlete POV. We want to thank Jay for coming on, and we wish you the best this upcoming year.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate you having me.
Of course.